Greetings, everyone. Happy Saturday. Today is the day that Saturn rules, and Saturn is the planet that governs karma. It governs cause and effect. It governs time. Saturn governs time, cause and effect. It governs discipline. And I wanted to come in and talk about, because Saturn is in Pisces, and there's a lot of undercurrent, underbelly stuff coming up. Like I've been noticing in the media, stories about women accusing men of rape or women being raped and things like that. And I wanted to talk about that from an energetic perspective. Hey, Coach Troy. I wanted to talk about that from an energetic perspective, and the conversation that I'm going to have is not a popular one. But I only want to talk about it because my work has taken me into the depths of myself to understand the experiences that I've had in my life. And I, like many women or most women, have experienced rape and molestation in various forms, where there wasn't consent, so to say, where there wasn't like verbal consent. But one of the most challenging things that I've had to do is because as I've done the work that helps me understand that we are creating our reality. We are generating a reality. This is a motherfucking hologram, you guys. And every experience that we're having is one that has been generated through us at a soul level agreement that will assist us in our own growth and evolution. Now, the work is understanding that because we've been living in this world where we believe in separation, we believe that things that we are experiencing are not our creations. Because we believe that, we experience it that way. And this is an energetic reality, and everything here comes through cause and effect. Now, as a human being, I've worked with many clients, and I don't know, most clients, most women that I've worked with have had some sort of sexual inappropriate behavior or sexual rape. And one of the things that I know in astrology, I can look at people's charts. We are carrying epigenetic codes that are unfinished from our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-great-grandmothers. And for those of us who are in black bodies and white bodies around sex, we are experiencing the trauma that our great-great-grandmothers didn't heal. I have been in environments in school where I have heard the most unbelievable stories around sexual predatory things. Like a family with 4 or 5 girls, and the father and his brothers are raping his daughters and his wife. I have heard unbelievable shit around sexual predatory stuff. And the thing that I understand is that we carry it in our DNA. And I'm not saying this for it to, not make people be responsible for the things that they do or the choices that they make. But I just want us to know that as women are generating the subconscious reality. So if we come from families where there is sexual oppression, here's what I mean, where our sexual energy is being oppressed, where we're being told, that's fast, don't be that way, men are not going to like that, or you're going to be too this, where you're being giving these narratives around sex that would have you be at odds with your natural sexual energy. Sexual energy is all that there is. Sexual energy is everything. You cannot escape it. Sexual energy is oxygen. It is what's always happening. Bees are fucking flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is, here's what sexual energy is. Sexual energy is the coming together of two opposite aspects. That's what sexual energy is. So when we begin to suppress and oppress our sexual energy because of religious doctrine or family trauma, karma, generational patterns, when we begin to suppress it, it is the most natural thing. So it's going to find a way to live because it is alive. Try suppressing your own sexual energy and see how that works. It is a living, breathing thing. So as women, many of us don't understand this. And because we don't understand that our sexual energy is alive, whether you're saying yes or no, many of us sometimes are saying no in our heads, but saying yes in our bodies. And if you're a woman, you know this. You know what I'm talking about. Men don't know it, but they can feel it because they can feel the sexual energy. But it requires us becoming very responsible for our choices and the things that we do and what we believe and what we take on. So one of the things that I absolutely have learned studying cosmology and energy and family trauma and epigenetics is that women create the reality. And what do I mean when I say that? Every person on the planet came out of a woman's body. So what does that mean? That means her emotions programmed that baby, her genetics. And it's not that men's genetics don't do but men don't cook the baby in their body. So whatever your mother has not finished, whatever your grandmother has not finished, whatever didn't get worked out in the relationship show up in your experience, even though it might not be something that you feel connected to. That's just how this reality works. We are programmed from the generations before us. I was talking on a video not so long ago where I was talking about how the monarch butterflies fly from Canada. They lay eggs, they die. Those eggs turn into caterpillars. Those caterpillars eat, turn into cocoons. Those cocoons open, those are butterflies. And they stay on the same pattern, the same map, the same geographical tracking system as the butterflies that lived before them, even though the butterflies that lived before them did not teach them. It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA. So, our relationships are karmic. Generally, our relationships are karmic because we are going to be working out the relationship patterns that didn't get worked out by our mothers and our fathers, by our grandmothers and our grandfathers. All of those patterns are still there. They are karma. So when we wind up in relationships with people who are unkind to us, who are brutal or whatever, that is because that is a karmic energy that is unfinished. I'm not suggesting that the people shouldn't take responsibility for their behavior. I'm saying, but we as women have to take responsibility for what we create, what we generate, what comes into our world. Because we are the ones that are creating the external. We give birth to it, right? So when your creations show up in your life as somebody who's an abuser or a cheater or a liar, you have to go inside of yourself and say, why have I attracted this? And the longer we continue to make ourselves victims and, oh, he didn't, and he did this to me, and he did this to me, the longer the patterns continue. That means if you don't heal the pattern, if you attracted a rapist, if you are in a relationship with a rapist and you don't look at yourself and say, what in me attracted a rapist? And you continue to say, oh, he did this to me. He did this to me. He did this to me. He did. And you don't hold yourself responsible in any way, you will continue to generate that pattern. The pattern is there because maybe somebody, maybe your great-great-grandfather was a rapist, and that pattern still is running through the system of your family. So you will still continue to have those experiences until someone says, I'm going to look at this. The same with alcoholic addiction, health challenges, diabetes. All of those are patterns that are running through our systems. And the longer we don't take responsibility for it, the longer we say, oh, I'm going to go make somebody else be responsible for the thing going on in my life. This is happening in my life. I am in a relationship with somebody who is raping me. What is it in me that would attract this? And I know that these are not easy conversations, but these are not easy times. And if we are going to evolve and heal and transmute the energy, which is possible, it's possible. We don't have to continue these patterns. They don't have to continue on. If you are interested in healing it, then you have to be willing to say, what in me, not from a place of blame, not from blame, but from compassion, from love, from, oh, I'm the common denominator here. How is it that I'm not from making yourself wrong, but from the deep desire to heal and transmute and alchemize and activate a new experience? The only way to do that is through being responsible. There is no other way. There is no other way. And women, because we are the generators of reality, we are the ones who have the greatest responsibility. Why? I talk to women all the time. How come I'm the one that got to do it? How come I got to do it? How come I got to do it? Because we give birth to the humans. We are the ones giving them the codes for how to be human. So when we take responsibility for it within ourselves, then we generate a new experience. That's why we are the ones. And no one else can do it but us. We cannot keep pointing the fingers at men. Men only do what we generate as available for them to do. And I'm not trying to let them off the hook. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I am saying, I'm just talking about the natural order of things. The natural order of things is that the woman is first. The woman is first. And so when will we grow up? When will we mature? When will we begin to use our powers? So many of us are functioning in our masculine, which means that the masculine just means the external world. We're attached to the external world. We believe that the external world is the real world, when the external world is the illusion. The internal world is the real world, and the external world is following the internal world. So when will we mature ourselves as women and begin to understand that we have subconscious powers? We carry the mitochondrial DNA. We are the linkage to our ancestors, to the invisible realm. And because we are the linkage to it, we are the ones who are responsible for doing the work, because we have the key. And I know this is not, my conversation is not one that the world is having. We are continuing to blame and make other people be responsible for our creations. We are the creators. We are it. How do we know? Because we give birth. And so, what does that mean? What does that mean? I have had a number of times in my life where I have been in experiences sexually that I didn't say, I want to do this. I had one experience where Spirit told me, don't go over there. You know you're not supposed to be over there. I went anyway, and I had a rape experience. I did not listen to my internal voice. But my internal voice was loud and clear. Don't do it. And after it happened, I had to say to myself, why would I put myself in a situation where I knew I wasn't going to be honored? But I did that. I was watching a video the other day here of a man walking into a lion's cage, and when the lion came and dragged him, like, he went into the lion's cage. He walked into the lion's den. I mean, so as women, if we can't take responsibility for the choices we make when we act against our intuition and our internal voices and our spiritual direction, and then something occurs because we didn't be obedient to ourselves, whose responsibility is that? And as long as we call somebody else's name and say that it's their responsibility, we're going to continue to experience this nonsense. It's been the hardest thing in my life to take responsibility for all the choices that I've made and to stop blaming other people. It's been so challenging to not live my life filled with excuses of why I can't or what happened and how I didn't. It's been the hardest thing. And every day I have to ask myself, can I take responsibility for the choices that I make? Because what happens is we make choices thinking that things here sometimes are free, but nothing here is free. So we have these fantastic ideas of how we want things to come, but things are not that way. Everything here is duality. Everything is duality. So as good as something is also as bad as something is, because everything has a dual nature. So when you make a choice to go be with somebody because you think that you fucking this person is going to get you entry into a reality that you didn't create intentionally from within yourself consciously, and then you are faced with your own demons in this other person, you created that. You created that. That doesn't mean that that person isn't responsible for their demons, but you walked into the lion's den. You walked into the lion's den. And this is hard to say. This is hard to say. But we live in an energetic reality. And everything comes from within. Everything. And so the more we can take responsibility for the things that have happened in our lives that we don't like, the more that we can be responsible for the thing that we're blaming somebody else for by asking, why would I create this? Why would I sincerely and curiously, why would I create this? Why would my soul place me in this situation? Why? And listen. Ask and listen. Ask the question and listen. Why would I create this? What did I need to learn? What did I need to learn? And then that's when you begin to alchemize it. Why would I be with a person that does such and such? Rather than denying it, rather than making it be about something superficial, ask yourself the real question. And accept the medicine, accept the hard lesson, and be grateful for the hard lesson, because that is the point of change. When you can ask the hard question, accept it, be grateful for it, and transmute it. You transmute it through gratitude. Otherwise, you stay a slave to it. So these young ladies, they can all cry rape if they want to. They can all get paid, but the money will go down the drain because you didn't receive the money through intention. You didn't receive it through responsibility. So what if you get 50 million? So what if you get 2 million? So what? Because anything received from ill means, meaning you weren't intentional, you weren't conscious, you weren't aware of yourself. Anything received in that way can't be held. One of the most difficult things that we do in this reality is that we give money power that money is not deserving of. because our country values money above humanity, we think that money is more valuable than our human selves because of slavery, because of, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we come from this system that says what I can get, what the value of what I get is better than who I am. Does that make sense? We give money status that it doesn't really do, because money is really nothing. You're not going to take the money with you. You can't, right? So we allow, because you can pay for something financially doesn't mean that you have the capacity to be responsible for it, to maintain it, to actually embody it. It doesn't mean that you actually deserve it, because we made money the most valuable thing. But it doesn't mean that you can actually contain it. So we have to really begin to understand our relationship to money and understand that just because something costs a certain thing, it doesn't mean that it's valuable. It doesn't mean that you should have access to it. We're watching all of these people who have money go into these spiritual communities and start doing all this work. And you hear about, these young people dying because they don't know what they're doing. They don't have the maturity. They don't have the wisdom. Money without wisdom is nothing, right? So we have to really understand what we're inviting, what we're saying yes to. Because just because we have the money for it doesn't mean that we can actually really afford it energetically. Because some things are actually more expensive energetically than they are money-wise, financially. And then you're going to end up paying more than it really cost you for the money. And so that's what you'll watch. You'll watch these women, go to court, or these men will pay them millions of dollars, but the money will just run out because they didn't really, they weren't in their truth. They weren't in integrity. They weren't honoring the real full story. That's how you lost all your money. Yes. Yes, exactly. So I'm telling you, ladies, be thoughtful right now. Be thoughtful as we're doing this work with the masculine. I am also having my own work to do with the masculine because I'm having to reorient my mindset around the masculine and how I've given the masculine power that the masculine doesn't organically deserve in nature. So I'm having to learn what it means to be the feminine, and the feminine is first, meaning I am the cause and the effect is the masculine. So if I can't take responsibility for the cause of things, then I don't want to cause it. I don't want to do it, right? So we have to understand that men are at the effect of the feminine. It is the way of it. It is nature for men to be at the effect of the feminine. So if the men in your life are out of order, then you are out of order. You have to see it that way. You cannot blame them. You have to take responsibility. And when you get in order with yourself, then you will not attract masculine that is out of order. You've got to understand that it is as above, so below. It's a mirror. It is a mirror. So if the men in your life are out of order, you've got to say, where am I out of order? Where am I generating this? How am I creating this? Where am I inviting it in? Don't be so quick to just be like, he this and he, no, it's you. This is an energetic university. This is an energetic universe. It comes from inside. All right, you guys, come sign up for your natal charts and come take classes and do your coaching work so we can heal this stuff. We can heal this stuff, and we have to heal it with women who are willing to be responsible, who are willing to come into their gifts and their magic, because our power is not like men's power. And many of us are functioning in male power. So we're ignoring our intuition. We're ignoring our psychic abilities. We're denying the internal voice inside of us. We're denying our power. We're afraid of our power. And because we're afraid of our power, we have an expectation for them to have the power. But they don't have access to the type of power we have. So how can we expect them to be responsible for something that is ours that we are not being responsible for? How can we do that? That's not right. That's out of alignment. That's out of alignment. So learn how to work with your sexual energy so that you are healing the family trauma and bonds and all that stuff that your great-great-grandmothers didn't heal. You know, as Black women, we have been in generations of rape culture and sexual trafficking. That's what slavery was. Slavery was sexual trafficking. That's what it was. So we have been in that for generations. So those energies are still in us. Those frequencies are still here. We're the first generation that has the tools and the mindset to heal it, which means that it's going to be the most difficult for us because we're the ones that can do it, but it's not been done. So there's a lot of work to do. So you've got to take responsibility. Do your womb work, heal your womb, do your yoni steams, work with, do the work so that you can begin to heal your own system. And as you heal your system, that energy will heal other men. It will heal them. They will lift up. But you can't do it by, he raped me and he did this. No, that may have happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying you shouldn't have feelings about it. I'm saying you got to take responsibility for it. You've got to take responsibility for it. A lot of us are leaking sexual energy. Our sexual energy is trapped in the first and second chakra. And when it's trapped in the first and second chakra, you attract energy that's just base. All it is about is sex. Like I know most of my lovers, it's always just been about sex. It's never been about anything really higher because I was trapped there. I was trapped in that sacral chakra energy. Not able to lift it into my heart, not able to speak my truth and see my reality, right? You got to learn how to use this energy. You have to learn how to do it. And because I was trapped there, I would attract sexual experiences that were not in alignment. But it was me. It was me. It was me. All right, y'all. Okay, use this Saturn energy today. Use it to look at your karma, look at your energy. Don't call nobody else's name. Make a list of all your lovers. See what the patterns were. See what the patterns were. Come sign up for the Goddess Gathering. And come sign up for the 13 moons work or the full moon work. Just come and follow the sun because this is the work that we do. To do the work to heal ourselves, to transmute the energy, because this energy becomes power. It becomes magic so that you can then project the reality you desire. But you can't project the reality you desire if you're not healed your shadow. You're going to just continue to project the shadow. All right, y'all. I love y'all very much. Peace and blessings. Thank you for having a deep, intimate conversation with me. I appreciate you guys for being willing to go deeper because that's the only way we're going to get free is if we're willing to have a full conversation. Yes, follow the sun is really beautiful. I'm so grateful for it. Peace and blessings, you all. Bye-bye.